Why, hello! I'm Lauren with Lauren Elizabeth Animal Art, and I'm a full-time animal artist, mother, color fanatic, and to help me manage my stress this year, I've been creating art every single day for 10 minutes a day, and I invite you to join me. I'll show you some updates on my color challenge, and at the end of this video, I'll be showing you how I paint realistic fish scales. All right, creatives, come on, let's get started. So the beginning of last month, we went to the Brookfield Zoo in Illinois, right next to Chicago. We're actually members of this zoo, so I plan to go every month, but I had a blast with the seals. I just couldn't believe it. They were just so interested in my gloves, my mittens, and I was like the seal tamer. It was so much fun. You should get a video of this. This is pretty funny. Thank you, Marta. My wonderful friend was actually filming me the whole time, so I'm so thankful I could get this footage to show you. And of course, that led to a seal painting. But do you ever have those paintings where you hype them up, you want them to be so great, but they just don't turn out as you had planned? Well, that's definitely how this one went. It's not my favorite. I like parts of it, but I don't like all of it. So I think I might redo it and then make it a masterclass tutorial. But comment below what you think. Be honest, should I leave it as is or should I redo it and make it more colorful? What do you think? So child update, baby Zachary is 8 months old, still no teeth, but really teething quite a bit. And not quite crawling, but almost there. And poor Anna Grace is having a hard time at her twos. I call it the testy twos. And man, is mommy and daddy learning patience right now. Who's that? Who's that? Is that Zachary? I love it. Do you have the sunshine in your eyes? Now, something else I've been working on for so long is a brand new print shop with majority of it my newest work from my 365 days of color. In the past, I did have a print shop, but I just wasn't happy with it. Plus, I honestly couldn't keep up with it with little babies and my masterclass. But now I kind of know the flow of things and my masterclass, and I'm making so much art this year that I figured I'll also have my art collectors that I send out each month and a public print shop that will be open and updated. I'll have 5x7, 8x10, and 11x14 size gloss and matte prints available. And that will be launched on March 20th, the first day of spring, and at 10 a.m. Now, I've also updated my shipping. So how I plan to ship these prints, almost everything, not all of it, but almost everything will be recyclable, biodegradable, and I'll not roll these prints. I'll have them in sleeves and on stiff, flat mailers. I don't like folded prints. If anything, I try to keep them flat at all times and protected. I'm not a fan of receiving rolled prints. So that's how I'm going to be shipping them off safely. Now, the majority of these prints were commissions, not all of them, but some, and I got their permission to make them into prints. I call this one a radiant face. Jeez, how are you doing today?
My name is Anna Grace.
Your name's Anna Grace. My name's Mama.
Achoo!
Achoo! Do you have a cold? Drum roll, please. Ta-da! My first ever stickers, and I think they turned out pretty darn sweet. I love stickers. I know Anna Grace loves stickers. Actually, they're helping us with potty training right now. Very important. Now, on top of learning how to make stickers, I'm also learning how to make animated art. And I really want to get good at this. Like, this is my goal this year. I really want to be able to be efficient on the Procreate on my iPad. So another thing that I made is a shark. Do 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 do. Parents, I know you know that song. It's the most annoyingest shark song. Anyway, this is the fourth one, the fourth final painting of a 4-part commission. And this client actually said I can make prints of all 4 of them. Thank you, Anne. I am so grateful for that because they turned out so great. I'm so excited about all these paintings. And the last one was a shark. Now this is a 4-part nautical commission that I have clips and tutorials of all 4 of them, and I'll link those down below. These are 8x10 paintings, and I did a dolphin painting, a seahorse, a betta fish, and now the shark. Now I call this one Compassion for the Sharks, and if you'd like to see my process in photo form from sketch to the completed painting, I have that linked from my blog, my 365 Days of Color blog, also down below. Now, another thing that happened is we found out poor Rosie has Lyme's disease. We think she got it quite a while ago. She's thankfully doing better now, but oddly enough, took her to get her teeth cleaned. She had a fever and she was limping, and we found out it's because of that Lyme's disease is affecting her joints and taking a toll on her body. So we're just giving her antibiotics now and just monitoring her and trying to keep her healthy. And now I'm going to show you how I paint fish scales. And this is that one of the 4 paintings I was talking to you about of the betta fish. I start by creating a flat base. So there's no blending. I'm just basically covering up the white and making sure there's a bottom first layer below the scales. Then I let the base dry completely, the body area where we'll be painting the scales over top. Now you can either have a dark base and then create a design with a lighter color over top that, or use a light base and use a darker color to create your designs. I used both. And at the end, the scales are going to be lighter and shiny because they're going to reflect lots of light. But first I need the design on there. My main focus is using the design of 3 C's. 2 C's that are touching, and then on the left of that C, I have another C that's right in the center of those 2 C's. I'm starting in the center of the fish and then working left and right. I'm keeping them the same size and width and length, but not the same color. Not all fish are like this, but in the betta fish, you'll have different colored scales. So very carefully painting one scale at a time, aligning them in rows around the body of the fish. Horizontally, I'm going to start pulling those scales in towards the eye. Now on the betta fish, there's some scales that are just completely filled in, and then other scales that are all the same color around it. Just like I have some light blue scales, I have some red scales, and some dark blue scales. Now this is called a cycloid scale. There's actually all different types of scales. On its own, it kind of looks like our fingernails, but together in rows like this, one end is curved and the other end looks like an inverted V. Now once I apply a scale outline on the entire fish body, then I fill in individual scales with a specific color. So I have some red, I have some dark blue, I have some light blue, I even add some yellow. I'm not going to create circles or squares, I'm just filling in those open C's. Now something else I do with not just fish, but basically all my animal portraits is if I mix up a color I really like, I find some other areas that are in a different spot in the animal that I can also apply that color. And that's what I did with these yellows and bright oranges. Now these scales will often, not always, be brighter and shinier. So a little tip here, you might even want to go in with some metallics. I love my metallics. Arteza gold or silver or pearl, just to give it that glossy, shiny look on those scales. And the fins will also be bright, but they won't be as shiny. Now I noticed this in betta fish scales that there's areas that are concentrated in one color, but then there's a few scattered around over top other colors. It kind of appears like some scales are multicolored, but they're not. It's just how it's layered. Each scale, if you look closely, is one color. Now, depending on the fish, the ones with longer fins will create these shadows over top the body and the scales, but you'll still be getting some light to those scales. So you want to make sure you have a really dark base for beneath that area, and then with just a slightly lighter color, apply half C's in that area. Now, something else I do so that it really stands out over the dark blue ocean, if I'm applying a fish that's over top a dark blue background, is I'll start with my medium value scales first. I'll fill those in, and then I'll move to my lightest ones, and then I'll move to my darkest ones. That way I can really make the fish pop and be real bright, and then I'll add that contrast and definition with the darker values at the end. So once I've applied most of my colors to the scales, I always end up adding a few more colors at the end. I'll work on the fins. Now, I won't go in too much detail on the fins, but for longer fins, I like to use lines that are evenly spaced out. I like to make sure that they're long curved lines, so not sharp ones. That way I can create the movement. I use long, wide angled lines to create this peaceful, tranquil movement, but shorter and sharper ones if the fish is moving real fast. The brush I'm using to create these nice lines and the little details in the scales is a liner brush. My liner brush by Arteza is one of my favorites for making scales and fins, especially little tiny ones like on a betta. Again, something I do to all my animal portraits is I'll not just have one layer of a color. Even if that's the set color, I'll add like 2, 3, 4 just to make it really pigmented, really bright and vibrant. Now, not all fish have this, but oftentimes the pectoral fins are like transparent. So I'll use medium to dark colored lines for the main part, and then sometimes I'll apply a light white wash around it and over top of it. Alright, so as I add my final touches, I'll tell you the colors I used, which are Prisma Violet, Fluorescent Pink, Cadmium Yellow, Phthalo Blue, Indian Yellow, Arteza Metallic Gold, White, Black, and Naphthol Crimson Red. And voila, that is how I paint fish. I'll definitely have prints in all sizes in my print shop opening on March 20th of this one. But also the giveaway winner for this month will be announced in my next real-time painting tutorial. So keep an eye out for that. I'll make sure I announce the winner then. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!